But I really feel like this day and age, like there's too many opinions. I feel like sometimes I don't need to hear your opinion.
Right.
Like
Says the podcast.
It literally has. But
you're not getting
to
it.
is when you are hucking a loogie.
Yeah.
oh yes, sir.
Yes,
Do
sir.
not fucking spit a loogie on that thing. We're not going to be cool after that.
I'm gonna be cool. Just to let you know, I'm gonna be okay with that.
Oh, all right. Everybody, I mean.
Welcome to the Sofa Kingdom podcast with your host Nelson.
Ian.
I swear, and our special guest today,
Troy.
Now, I promise you, we practiced the entrance to this podcast. The opening sequence was discussed. Grant was like, I got Ian. I said, welcome to the Sofa Kingdom podcast.
Usually
and
it
he
goes-
fucking blanked.
Usually it goes, Ian sits there.
Oh, shit. I'm in Ian's seat.
So in the order of operations, you forgot that you were number 2?
Yeah.
I'm just clarifying.
Oh, man.
It goes
I'm usually
1,
number
2,
4.
3, right?
Yeah, I'm usually number 4,
But there was a long dramatic pause. Everybody was
and I
like,
actually looked at Eddie.
Grant?
It
was.
because I figured it was
like
like Nelson, Eddie, Troy, and then Ian. But it's Grant actually.
But it is Grant. It is Grant.
Ian's in the mountains wrestling bears or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And to be fair, like,
with a man bun.
to keep it in perspective, like if you don't watch us on YouTube, Grant is probably the size of Ian's right arm.
Yeah.
I never watch it on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't
Oh, yeah.
actually know what Ian looks
Yes.
like.
Think of the Targaryen in the new Game of Thrones.
Okay.
The gentleman that plays Doctor Who. Do we know his name? Anyone?
Matt Smith?
Matt Smith.
Really?
You know who Matt Smith is from Game of Thrones?
I do not.
I will bring
He
up.
is upset
yeah.
how much he
Pull
looks
that
like
shit up,
Matt
Jamie.
Smith.
I'm gonna bring up a picture of Matt Smith,
So
so you can see exactly what he looks like.
Okay. Racist memes
Now,
for
I
like
was
the
gonna
last
make
2
a
weeks.
joke.
Just-
Oh, you can send Matt Smith memes as well. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm
he
on
looks
that now.
like this guy Ian with just
wow.
like long blonde hair, right?
Okay.
So when he does do the long blonde hair for like the Renaissance Festival, he actually looks like the guy from The Witcher 2, like Henry Cavill. So he's just a big Viking motherfucker. But as we know, because Ian's brother called him out, he's like, "Stop saying you're a Viking." He's like, "You're from like Scottsdale, Arizona and shit." Like, what are you talking about? You have no Viking blood
The Vikings were
whatsoever.
seafaring. They could have.
Did he do 23andMe or anything? Figure out what he is?
No, because then he would have to legitimately say he's not a Viking.
I'm British.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm from
He's
Wales.
like, we found him on the streets.
I'm from Wales. Hello. I don't even know if that's a Wales accent, but I'm
Well,
going with
I don't
it.
know either. I won't have to
Yeah,
look at
yeah.
I always just go right to Australian, like, good day, fucker. And it's like,
G'day, mate.
That's not English, British. Yeah, it is. It is to me.
It's close enough. Like, throw some Vegemite on there and we're good to go.
Exactly. Okay.
Oh my god.
So, Troy, this is your first time on the podcast.
It is. I'm honored.
And, thank you for being here. I know you from jiu-jitsu and from the gym, as we all do. Even when my brother just comes every now and again and shit, you know what I mean? He's got his own gym. I've gotten to talk to you, and you were on a particular weight loss journey that happened, a couple of years ago?
This one started a couple of years ago. Yeah, I mean, it's been like a lifelong kind of thing.
Sure. It became a lifestyle change for you now.
Yeah, right. So the previous approach was like diets and whatnot. I'm going to do Nutrisystem, I'm going to do keto or whatever, and it just never really worked for me. So,
Sure.
Yeah.
Same goes for me. Like anytime you go into a diet and you put that kind of like serious restriction on you that isn't long term and you don't make it that lifestyle change, it's like you'll diet, you'll lose that weight, and then as soon as you fall off, do you fall off?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly,
right?
Exactly. And that was my thing. And I didn't really notice it was a pattern for like a decade. It's like I'm not too smart.
It's all right. It's all right.
I think that's where every American falls under. It's like,
Yeah.
it's easy to lose it in the beginning. It's hard to keep it gone.
Exactly.
But you know who I blame? The people that made the fucking food pyramid. Do you remember the food pyramid, Grant?
Yeah,
Like,
it was
when we were
bullshit.
in high
My
school?
grandmother
Yeah.
called it out when I was a kid. She was like, "That's not food." And I'm like,
It's just carbs. It's just
no,
tons
she's
of carbs.
Yes.
like, she was like, or she came from Italy, so it was like she cooked everything by hand. So when I
Right.
wanted McDonald's, she was like, "I'll make you McDonald's," sort of like Eddie Murphy with the burger.
Oh, like,
Yeah.
you
But it
got
was-
McDonald's at home?
Yeah. McDonald's, but it was like, I wanted chicken nuggets. She'd just fry up some, she'd actually get like real ingredients and she'd make it. And
Sure.
I think that's a lot of everybody so wants everything so fast and easy and right
Sure.
now, and it's like, I don't know, they don't put love in their food. That's the other thing when they're making it.
They
They're
don't.
like,
They don't. And a lot of it is we're told we just don't have the time in the day to do it. But it's like you have to make time in your day to take care of yourself, whether it's mentally or physically. Like that's why like when we get out of the workspace or the home space, you go to the gym or you go to your place that you can exercise and key in on like, this is for me, this is for my body and my mental health state. And that's where you start really finding that growth and like, oh, I can do this. And there is time in the day, you know, you just got to cut out that Netflix or cut out that phone time or cut out some of the bullshit that really is keeping you stagnant.
That job.
That job.
career.
Oh,
Listen,
yeah.
fuck that job.
that's right. Especially when there's OnlyFans and whatnot.
Yeah.
Feedfinder.com.
Yeah.
Like, I'm down.
Oh, is that why you were a
That's
little
how I
late
do it.
this
That's-
morning?
yeah, that's
I
why
was
he was
late.
late,
You
yeah.
know, there was other
That's how
reasons I
burn
was
all those
late.
calories.
Actually, I wasn't late. I was here a minute early. Ian's usually late.
This is true.
And I was
This is
trying
true.
I was trying to get into my character of Ian, but I couldn't do it. I just couldn't let go of that. I got to be on time thing. So me being here a minute right before was
Yes.
like me being late.
Oh, wait a second. So that's method acting? Right there? Is that
I
what
had to
you're
get
doing?
into, I had to get
For
into
like
the-
a week.
Yeah, he's gone
I'm
for a
Ian.
week. He's like, I'm
I'm
done.
Ian, I'm a Viking.
Yeah, maybe
but not a Viking.
wrestling bears.
Battling that
if
internally.
you would have came in with like a long hair wig and a
I
ponytail,
was
would've been
gonna
like,
come
you're
in
in.
like Metallica meets Richard Simmons.
Oh, man.
But I just couldn't.
Metallica meets Richard Simmons.
And that's Ian.
You heard that here. That's going to be the name of the episode. Metallica
great.
meets Richard Simmons.
That's an image.
Yes.
That's-
Yes. So back to some of this health and fitness that we were discussing. So for you, Troy, what is it that you do? What did you change differently that you found success in a more long-term approach?
So I started, like I joined a group of people and go about it in a community. So I'm not going at it alone. I take pictures of everything I eat. I send that to people. I don't make decisions on my own about what I'm going to eat.
Right.
There's something there that
Offload
has
some
helped
of the burden.
Yeah.
So it's not as mentally taxing.
Well, that and like I will talk myself in. So like I haven't had pizza for like a year and a half at this point. Obviously, it's working. Right?
Sure.
I alone will talk myself into why it's okay to go to Costco and get a pizza. It's okay, guys. I'm only gonna have 2 slices. Chill. And that is how every diet would always fall apart. Like I would be doing
Right.
fantastic, and
Right.
then I would just. Oh, I could do it this one time. I could get 1 double cheeseburger from McDonald's.
Sure.
And like sometimes I get away with it once or twice. You know what I mean? So it's that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's how it creeps in. That's me and caffeine and sugar. My biggest vices are sugar, and that's what keeps the body fat that I don't want on. Because I'm like, man, I'm in the gym like 6 days a week, 2 hours a day. I'm hitting the bike at home. What the fuck? And then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm also drinking like 4 Monsters, eating 2 bags of
Right.
chips, having some cupcakes and shit. So once I cut that out, that's where I lost a significant amount of not only my belly fat, but the weight, because I was doing the work, but the diet had to match the effort
Can't
in the
outwork
exercise.
a bad diet.
And then
You can't outrun your fork.
You have
can't.
like all calories are not created equal,
Right.
And people
It's
don't realize
huge.
that. So like for instance, like your sugar, like you could have some sugar. It's not the end of the world. It's the fact that you're drinking Monster and it's not real sugar. Like
Sure. And the abundance of
yeah,
it.
and
Yeah,
like
yeah,
yeah.
you know,
Amount.
fruit. Like I get it. Like fruit has sugar in it. It's simple sugars, and it spikes your glycemic index, which.
But it also comes
Right.
with fiber and nutrients
Yeah.
versus a
And
can
it
of
takes a
soda.
long
Yeah,
time
exactly.
to-
And that's just like you're uploading serious calories
Sure.
fast, and it's
Yes.
like your body. It's almost like the
Yes.
same thing as having crack cocaine.
Right,
It's
right.
similar.
Tell us more about your crack cocaine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
but I'm saying like no, but I'm saying like you're like
No, but you're
it
right, you're
spikes
right.
the
Yeah.
brain. It has
Yeah.
that same kind of like wow.
Yeah.
All right.
But making the switch is probably the hardest thing, right?
Right.
Because because you almost feel sick. I felt like I was neglecting my body. Like when I was like, because I went cold turkey too. I'm like, fuck it, I'm not doing it. Because if I have one, it's gonna lead to 2. 2's gonna lead to 3.
Right.
So I'm like, I have to do it cold turkey. Just my personality.
And some of that is just knowing yourself. But for some people, it's you can't punish yourself when you fall off for a meal. You can't let the one meal punish myself
Right.
turn into a day, turned into
Right.
a
Well,
Well, it
week.
turns into a fuck it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
You're like,
man, I screwed
ah,
up.
I'll restart again next Monday. No.
Exactly.
I fell off right now. I'm good. I'll
Right.
fix it on my next meal.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but I'm there now. But in the beginning, I had to do cold turkey, and then I had to let my body kind of reset,
You gotta-
my mind reset.
Reset what
So
you're
like
eating.
now, like I can have a monster like once a month, like if I'm feeling really low and I'm cool. But then it was far too soon for me to be like, yeah, I could do one now, because there was no fucking way I was gonna stop at one.
So
Gotcha.
And that's just being honest with myself.
you talk about the monster. I used to buy cases of Red Bull, sugar-free Red Bull. And I did a lot of training on the mountain bike. I do 50 miles, so I'd be romping on. Not only did the Red Bull, the caffeine help with that, but also ADHD. So I have the inverse response. So if I drink caffeine, it's like self-medicating.
Right.
Yeah.
So I decided at one point when I started getting a weird taste in my mouth from the aspartame from too much of it.
Yeah.
And that's what I understood. I went to espresso.
Right.
Espresso is a better call.
Sure.
And then, I put a little sugar in, but if I get a good decent espresso, I don't have to have sugar.
Sure.
So I mean, like, there's these things you can renegotiate and still have the things you want.
Right.
But I mean, like, a Costco pizza is all sugar. But if you have a real handmade pizza that's real dough, once in a while it's okay. Like, people overseas in UK, they eat that stuff and they're not fat. It's here in the US,
but
it's up.
also a
Probably.
different way that it's being made overseas too,
Yeah.
right? Because
Different-
a lot of
It's the
it.
way I make
You're
it
talking
here.
overseas, they're still using heirloom wheat and things like that.
Correct.
Where a lot of the stuff we have here is processed and processed and processed again. And by the time you're getting to it, if you're not going to a proper pizzeria, it's gone through engineers who've designed it to be really addicting. They
Sure.
want
Right.
you to
Exactly.
keep coming back for
Exactly.
more.
And that's another thing that can confuse people too, that you said processed.
Yes.
Like I was thinking like, man, if I have these Nutri-Grain bars and I have these Cliff bars and I have this and this, that this is healthier.
Right.
And it was a trick.
That's
I was
like the diet
what's healthier
industry.
is natural food,
Yeah.
the way that it is made.
It's healthier. It's healthier than a candy bar.
Sure.
Correct.
If your goals are to increase your protein. But if you're just replacing candy with that and you're not doing everything else to go with it,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. It's like you can have processed foods if you're keeping it within your calorie allotment. But the problem with processed food is it's easy to overeat it and your
Right.
body wants
And it
more of
creates
it as you
inflammation.
do.
Correct.
Yeah.
So then it becomes a cycle of your body wants more calories out of that style of food. They've already proven that with science. So then you end up eating more. And what happens is as you gain weight, your body stops telling you to stop eating as often.
Yeah.
So then you eat more. And then the food itself is also saying, "Ooh, I like this, have more." And
Right.
it becomes a whole cycle. And they've literally shown within 30 days, your entire gut biome changes, the triggers in your body's hormones for when to stop eating, the
Yeah.
ghrelin and all of
Yes,
those things
exactly.
gets completely upside down where
Yeah.
now you're hungry more often and the food you're choosing doesn't trigger when to stop eating
you
as
don't get
soon
the
as
satiety
it should.
response. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's
Right.
where, because calories versus calories, yes, it's equal, but the satiety behind the calories is where you fall into the trigger. A liquid drink of sugar isn't the same as eating fruit
Right.
Exactly.
because of all the other nutrients, the fiber, and everything else that comes with it.
Right.
Well, and it's so much less dense. So like I've taken myself out of the equation with the food decisions because I'm truly a drug addict with food.
Yeah.
Like I will not do crack for 5 years and then suddenly be like, "Ooh, it's a good idea to smoke crack." So I can't trust.
But that's
myself
important
running.
knowing
But
yourself.
What I will
Yes.
say is I'm convinced that like that a calorie is not a like sure thermodynamics whatever, but if I'm really into this idea of like insulin
Yeah.
has a huge role in all sorts of homeostatic like the body's trying to do a bunch of things with that hormone. It's not just drive blood sugar into the cells. That's the primary response, but it's also inflammatory, it's anabolic, it's going to mass build. So when you're exposing yourself to high levels of carbohydrate for years after years after years, your body needs to produce more and more insulin because your cells become resistant to it and it needs to get the sugar out of the blood.
Yep.
So even let's say you're eating the same amount, you're having one Snickers bar a day, whatever, like your food intake isn't changing, but your body's having to produce more and more insulin to get that same level of sugar into the cells. Well, that insulin's doing other things too. It's changing the body set weight in the hypothalamus. It's causing inflammation in the joints. It's causing the body to want to build more adipose and visceral fat. So there's other things that are happening. And I think that's a really common story of
Right.
people in the US, in the West, slowly gaining weight as they age, even though their diets aren't really changing, but their body is having a higher and higher insulin load until their pancreas like literally they can't produce more insulin enough anymore, and now they have type 2 diabetes, and they need to supplement with exogenous
because
insulin.
when you look at the diet, what it used to be, the amount of sugar in it was so minuscule,
and just carbs
as
in general.
compared to now.
And corn syrup as well, right? Because
Yeah.
corn syrup is put in everything.
Refined carbohydrate.
Everything. They're like, hey, here's your water with corn syrup. I'm like, bro, when I call Mother Nature, this bitch didn't tell me that there was corn syrup in my water.
Oh man, there's corn syrup in your clothes. There's corn syrup in everything.
So you have you go into all the insulin and stuff like that, but we have so much processed, like not even processed. Let's just go into the real context. Like you look in the back of a label and most of it's chemicals. You don't even know how to pronounce this stuff. A lot of these things are affecting your endocrine system.
Right.
Now, when you have all these calories, you speak of like, they're highly processed. Well, your body has the nutrients, but it's going into a survival context because of the fact that it's nutrient poor.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Right.
that's where the fat comes into play. Now, back in let's say 50s, 60s, when the whole diet trend came on, they were like, carbs are not bad. Let's put that.
No, you need carbs.
You need
Your body
carbs.
needs
And
it.
not all carbs
Especially
are
if
created
you're
equal.
burning,
Again,
Right.
if you're
the same
burning because
thing.
you're exercising.
So,
Right.
but the big thing was when they said, "Oh, fat's bad for you." No,
Right.
fat's good for you. We've been eating fat since the turn of time.
So what you're saying is you like Gorlok the Destroyer.
Dude, I will I eat.
Because that is fat incarnate.
Yeah, but I'm saying
Is this a
like,
hot take?
fat
It's
is
not
good
a
for
hot
you.
take.
Like,
I mean, let's be honest.
like
Go ahead.
Crisco is not good for you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like all that stuff is not good for you. But like eating a natural diet and carbs, like carbs are not bad. It's just the carbs that we're eating.
Sure.
It's
sure. I agree.
it's the
I agree.
abundance of refined carbs. So when
it-
we were
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
carbs out
right.
of fruits and vegetables
Yeah,
and things like
yeah.
that, you weren't getting that many, and it was coming with so much
Exactly.
other
So much
things
fiber
with
The
it.
gut had to get through. I don't know. So like before I got onto the food plan that I'm on now, I got really into keto. I went down that whole rabbit hole, and I'm kind of convinced that like in our evolutionary past, we wouldn't have access to this much carbohydrate.
No,
all
not
the
at all.
time.
Sure.
And so I'm kind of convinced that like ketosis might be the main metabolic mode for our bodies. And then when berries are in season, I found a shitload, I'm going to gorge myself. The body is like, well, I got to get rid of this blood sugar. Here's insulin. But
At
it
least
never
for a
dealt with
chunk
it.
of the year,
Got
we
it.
would have had to been on ketosis
Yes.
just because of the way seasons go. We
Yeah.
would have been losing plants. We would have been losing vegetables.
Only have
Fruits
animal
don't
products.
bloom year round. We just
Exactly.
have it set up that way with the world economy. So you would have seasons where carbs are abundant. And you
Right.
put on that body fat
Yep.
because once
You
they
need
go
it.
away for 6, 7, 9 months, you're burning it off, and all you have, what's left, are the animals.
Exactly.
But I will say this, right? On a simpler level of things, I think some people approach diet like, man, I just can't do this. For myself, even when I was struggling back and forth with diets, I'm like, it's just not working. What I really did on a very simple level in the beginning to help me start losing weight again was removing things.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to remove soda. I'm going to remove fast food. I'm going to remove fried food. I'm going to remove candy. Like, and I didn't do it all at once. I was like, this week, and just cold turkeyed it, but I didn't kill my body as well because the biggest one that I had an issue with was the caffeine intake.
Yeah.
I felt sick like the flu.
When you cold turkey.
Yeah, when I cold turkey,
caffeine is
I
not-
was
yeah.
nasty headaches.
Oh, man, yeah.
I felt really lethargic.
Yeah.
But once my body got used to that, I'm like, next thing, cut this out. Next thing, cut this out. And then I switched to like fruits and peanuts and like, for the middle of the day, more yogurt for my gut biome. Just simple things in the beginning. I think like if you're having trouble with it is remove shit. Get used to it, remove some more shit, and then start pulling in healthier stuff because fruit to me was kind of trash because I was like, it doesn't taste like a jelly bean.
Right.
Jelly beans are amazing.
And it's
Twizzlers are great.
I want kiwi Skittles.
Yeah,
not
I want kiwi Skittles, right? And you know what? Fuck you guys with banana, right? Because banana
that's
candy
bullshit.
does not taste like
It does
banana.
not.
It does not taste like banana.
It tastes like what bananas used to taste like before a pandemic wiped them all out, and we got left with the bananas that we now have.
Yeah, you're
So
talking
bring those
about
banana
the-
bags.
It's
Gross
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Into the microphone, sir.
Oh, the gross Michelle, like that was the banana that a lot of
Cloned.
us. Yeah, well, what happened was it's cloned. They have a bunch of different bananas in there. UB something I think is the one that's now cloned to be the gross Michelle. But there was a virus that came through and killed them.
Yeah.
They were starchier. They had seeds. They had bigger seeds in them.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, like I went down the rabbit hole. Like I did a lot of looking into plants and vegetables and everything because that's just how I grew up.
Sure.
A lot of the plants and
interesting.
vegetables we have now have not been through natural selection. It's been through us choosing and deliberately picking certain versions
Right.
and pushing those forward. A lot of them don't taste they don't taste anything like they used to. They were a
Corn didn't
lot
even look
more
the same.
Corn
None
like
of
bitter.
this tiny little gross.
Yeah, there was a
thing.
lot larger seeds. There was a lot less that you can actually
Like
eat
avocado.
yield-wise
Right,
out
right.
of all of it.
Yeah,
And we've
we bred it.
deliberately bred them to be more tasty
So is it-
and in some cases nutritious and
Is
things
it like
that.
is it like what they do with the cows and the chickens and stuff? It's
Yes.
it's bred out of
Selective
necessity.
breeding.
Yes.
And
Natural
because it's
selection.
like we need so much food to feed the world's population that
Yeah.
we need to make sure that it's coming out fast and we're
Right.
getting a lot of it that we
Right.
can
Yeah.
feed people.
That it
So
can
I guess that makes
stay
sense.
shelf stable or whatever.
Yes.
I think when the Cosmic Crisp apple, it's like a new apple that came out a year or two ago. I think they said that they bred it so that it would last a year in a refrigerator.
Are you serious?
I
Because
think so.
mine haven't. I
Oh,
grabbed
really?
them, but
That's
I
some bullshit. Get a refund.
but I usually
Big Cosmic Crisp screwing Ian over here.
so I get like I'll grab like regular apples or the apple crisp, but a lot of the fruit I'm understanding like in other countries they're not as vibrant with sugars. They're not this sweet.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And
But I mean,
here
we're
they
even
are.
we're
Market of
even
taste.
dyeing the
Even the
outside
orange
color
is
of
not orange,
apples
it's
in
green
some
in some
stores,
places.
Wow.
Yeah.
just to make them look
Yeah.
more appealing.
Right, because there's that market dynamic
Yes.
to it.
What
I want
about
it to
those
taste a certain
bubblegum
way.
Yeah,
grapes
but not
or
only-
something?
but not
They
only
were, like,
taste.
gross.
Apparently, not that good.
No, I didn't
Were
get
they
'em.
chewy like bubblegum? Because that would be fucked up. I'm blowing bubbles with my grapes. Something's wrong.
But
That
yeah.
would be a lot more fun. But like even right, like you're saying, for marketing purposes, even the appearance, like people don't want to buy a bruised banana. They're like, this
Right.
is spoiled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Yeah.
no, it's not. But they have to cycle these
Yeah.
things out
Yeah.
much quicker,
There's a
or make sure
tremendous
that
amount
the
of food waste.
preservation
just because
process.
it
Did you guys
doesn't-
hear
on
when
looking
people started
nice.
doing a ton of Instacart and whatnot during
Yeah.
the pandemic? Like that problem started to go away for stores because Instacarters would grab the bruised bananas.
Yeah, that'd be
and
a
by the
fun-
time it's to your house, like too fucking late.
Yeah.
And that
How
was
about,
actually
how about
helping.
that cut
Yeah.
fruit? That
Yes.
cut fruit was basically about to. They knew it was going to go bad in a few days. They cut it,
Sure.
made it easier for you. Up like it's triple or quadruple the
Yeah,
price. What is
right.
that?
Yep.
Yeah.
$16.
Dramatically more expensive.
That's not $16 worth of
Right,
fruit.
right.
But being that it's hand processed and everything else, and you don't have to do it, it's a convenience charge.
Yep.
So that's how they're doing it. Like a lot of these stores are making like these like some of like the boys or like these different grocery stores are making hot meals now
Yeah.
because it's reducing the waste. But
Yeah.
also
So,
again,
I mean, I'm all for it, right? If
Yeah,
you're gonna
but-
reduce the waste and the footprint that you're making, and you can make a little buck, and somebody's getting paid for a job to do it, I'm with it. I'm all about my lazy.
There's actually a whole food delivery
know-
service with fruits and vegetables, and that's what they deliver. It's like
Odd
this is
fruits.
perfectly good,
good.
fruits and vegetables,
Right.
but it isn't pretty
Cosmetically, yeah.
for the shelf.
Yeah.
But nutritional wise, it's perfectly fine if
mean,
you're willing to take it.
And shame on us as the consumer because I'm doing this at Costco. You know, I'm like looking for
Yeah.
the prettiest one.
Yeah.
Now I will say, Ian mentioned The Boys.
Yes.
Like, The Boys season 4. Is that what we're talking about?
Listen,
I saw.
I haven't
Bad
started
Boys 2.
watching yet, but I've already heard that The Boys season 4 is fucking living up to The Boys' name. I've seen 1, 2, and 3, and they never disappoint. They're probably some of the most disgusting things I've ever
Right.
seen on TV is
Right.
because of The Boys.
I've seen
Yeah.
conflicting reviews. Some
never
people
seen The Boys.
hating it and some people loving it. But it's the type of show where if it's not polarizing, who's watching?
Right.
That's a good way to put
and
it,
that's
man.
exactly it. And it's going to make you have an opinion one way or another.
Right.
But I really feel like this day and age, like there's too many opinions. I feel like sometimes
should
I
shut
don't
the
need
fuck
to
up.
hear your opinion.
Right.
Like,
Says the podcast.
Literally has to do
hang on a second. Our opinion fucking matters.
Yeah. We're on
Our-
Spotify.
and
and
if you're
whatnot.
sitting on this couch, we fucking matter.
That's right.
But if you're punching numbers in words in your home at Instagram, fuck you guys.
This is like the South Park episode where Kyle's dad's writing Yelp reviews.
I love South Park. Old South Park I like better than new South
oh man,
Park.
but
I
South
haven't
Park,
watched in a long
they just,
time.
man,
yeah,
they
it's
don't
been a
give a
little bit.
fuck.
well, they're
no.
grandfathered in.
Yep.
Yes.
That's like, dude, the what do you call it? Gen X memes are the shit. Like,
Yes.
I just like, you know what? I can't wait.
Yeah,
I just
I
can't
hear
wait.
you, man. No, but like South Park, The Simpsons, American Dad, like I think really what it is cartoons.
Yeah.
Cartoons can get away with some shit that you can't get away with on like a live action TV. But the few that do fall in the line like that, like when Game of Thrones was doing some crazy shit,
Yeah.
The Boys is doing some crazy shit.
Yeah.
Guess what, people? People are tuning in.
Yeah.
They're watching it. They love it.
Yeah.
But when you start putting too much of that woke nonsense or trying to force feed an agenda when it's not a part of the storyline.
When it doesn't add to the story.
Correct.
Right.
If it's a part of the storyline, I'm all for it. But if it's like
against the grain just
Like,
because.
Right.
we were talking about it, and I love everybody and whatever you choose in your life, how you want to live it.
Like Ian?
I don't
no,
give
I don't
a
like
fuck.
anybody.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. Live
Fuck
your
'em all.
life and be happy. But like when I'm watching Star Wars and like the latest iteration is like you always had the one. You know,
Yeah.
the Luke Skywalker, the Darth Vader, the Anakin Skywalker. This season of The Acolyte, they've leaned in on like, okay, now we have space lesbians with immaculate conception for twin female Jedis.
Wow.
And all the male Jedis in this show are fucking morons.
Yeah.
And have no
And the
penises.
women are the ones that are the badass killer warriors. Now, I'm all for badass women killer warriors. You're talking about a guy who grew up on Xena.
That
Yeah.
was a
Well,
warrior princess.
Wow.
Love
Yeah.
me some Xena.
90s kids.
All right? All right? So I'm with it. I'm all for it. And guess what? She was a lesbian, right? Gabriella and her? Come on, you can't tell me there wasn't something.
Yeah.
No.
They were
Yeah.
just roommates, bro.
They were
just
just roommates.
roommates.
They were just roommates.
I
But-
don't know, man. I like that hot dog girl.
Oh, man.
I'm gonna find her.
Is that how she appears in the credits? Just hot
She's
dog.
selling.
Hawk 2.
She's selling
Hawk 2.
merchandise. She's
I
got
don't
hats
care.
and everything
She
out
ain't
there
dumb.
now. No,
She ain't dumb. She's riding the wave.
I'm going on a side quest to find her.
The amount of memes and gifs that have popped up over this girl's Huck 2
She had me at the Southern
is
Drawl.
insane.
Man.
You know what we're talking
man.
I
about?
have
This-
literally no idea who you're talking
Dude,
about.
oh man, see if
I don't
Greg,
even,
pull up Hawk 2
bro.
for him.
I
You
can't
gotta
even
show-
like watch.
'cause I know you got 1,000
I'm gonna go on
memes.
Instagram. I don't even have to. I'm gonna go on Instagram and I'm gonna scroll like 2 inches. So
The algorithm
It is
knows.
so
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the internet doesn't lose. Like when something
No.
like that happens, it's like wildfire. And but she was smart enough to say, okay, if they're gonna use my face and my image, I'll put out shirts. I'll do this.
Yeah.
I'll do that. Why not? Because that's exactly how the Catch Me Outside girl
Yeah.
is a
Oh, man.
fucking millionaire.
Did like an OnlyFans millionaire?
Well, she does music. She
oh
did
shit. Okay.
interviews. Like after that, she was all over the place, and then took that and said,
Okay.
"Hey, I am a product, kind of like a Kardashian,
Right.
with no particular talent,
Yeah.
but I could see that there's value in what I did, and I can make money off of it, and that's just today's society." So, did you find the video?
yeah, Serge always sends them to me, and I send them
All
back.
right. So just show him a quick upload so he can
All right,
understand who
so-
the Huck 2 girl is. All right, so he's watching the video right now.
Bro, they're
was
looking
the
at them.
chick? And
Spit on that thing.
So like, you see,
I
like,
couldn't hear it. so-
It was like a street interview.
right.
You gotta give him that Huck to spit on that.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so she became viral off of this.
yeah.
And I guarantee you she's probably going to become a millionaire
All right.
off of this shit.
I just got to rewind because when I heard in the conversation, it like seamlessly changed from Xena, Princess Warrior. Whatever.
we were going that direction anyway. We were going in that direction
And I'm
anyway.
like, oh, okay, so this is like a 90s person. And it's just some random person.
She's like,
interview.
I got to clarify.
This was
yeah,
like
yeah.
3 days ago.
It was just a street interview, and they were like, "What can you do that drives guys crazy?" And she's
Okay.
like, "You got to hawk to and spit on that thing." Now it's going to change the life of women for here on
For-
in because
oh,
if
yeah.
it's
But
not
wait,
on their
so-
resume,
but a
they're not
hawk
getting
to
it.
is when you are hawking a loogie.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yes,
Do
sir.
not fucking spit a loogie on that thing. We're not going to be cool after that.
I'm gonna be cool.
fucking
Just to let you know, I'm gonna be okay with that.
Oh, all right. Everybody, I mean,
Listen,
go for
different
it, dude.
strokes for different folks.
Yeah, man. Oh, I want a chick who's got COVID or the flu and she's really phlegmy. I want her to feel it. Like, cool. All right. We don't kink shame around here. How
Yeah.
many people
No
were
teeth.
interested in Game of Thrones just because of Jamie and Cersei? All right.
Yes, yes.
So it's cool, man.
Yes,
It's cool.
That's
you know?
exactly.
I mean,
that
I don't
was a
think they
weird
were
one, right?
spitting
That was a
movies.
weird one, right? Because they were siblings, people.
Was
Yeah.
it weird or was it weird
Siblings.
how into it all of us were?
You can't say all of us.
Okay,
I wasn't.
whatever.
Not me. I was a
I'm
Daenerys, Jon Snow. I was on team
Okay,
Daenerys,
yeah.
team Jon Snow.
Wait, Daenerys.
But until
what about the wildling chick, man?
right? Yeah. She
You
was
know
cool too.
nothing.
Yes, you know nothing.
They actually got married.
She's like,
didn't
you know nothing, Jon Snow.
Yeah, didn't they actually get married?
I believe they
What
did.
was she Russian? Was that a Russian accent?
No, that was a wildlings accent.
Okay, because
sir.
I don't even know what that is. But I'm just saying. He didn't know what
He may
that
have
meme
just
was.
invented a new one.
Right,
So-
but to be fair, back then, it was
Back
more of a
then.
thing. Like even like the Egyptians did it.
Yeah.
the
Royalty. It was a royalty thing.
to
Oh,
keep the
incest. We're talking about
bloodline
incest.
Keep it in
pure.
the family.
But then you realize down the line that that's
Yeah.
why your bloodline failed eventually because you were breeding morons.
Isn't this
Yeah.
why Castilian
Rockefellers
Spanish has a
call that
list?
they-
Because the
they
king was
they
inbred to the
with-
point where
with
he had a
other rich
list.
families.
Yes.
So everybody had to start talking with a list.
Yes.
that's fine.
In order not to offend
The king.
The king.
Wow, that's some fucking
A
history.
little
bombs
history
there.
in there. I like that.
A
I
little
like
bit
that.
history and incest. It's
Yeah.
really that's what it's all about.
Actually, it is a history of incest.
yes, it literally is.
Every royal line.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. This is
And it's crazy because you would think they would have caught on eventually.
No,
No.
they were so hard up about keeping
No.
the power and money in place. Like that's the same thing with Rothschild and all those people. From my understanding, what I read
Yes.
when you go down the rabbit hole,
Yeah.
they only marry within those
That small group of families.
Yeah,
Sure.
to keep it in the keep. it in
But
the
that's
family.
also what keeps those people with money and influence in power. It's something that's been going on forever. It's just been pushed to the back just a little bit. But even think about it in our current political schemes. It's like you see the same families.
right.
Yeah.
You see the same people on top because that's just how they do
Yeah, and
business.
two hundred-
until
and-
I bring
and, yeah,
back the wampum.
less-
The
Yeah.
wampum.
at only around 300 years, it's like, oh, we're down to like 3 fucking families
Right, right.
Yes.
running everything. What the
Yes.
fuck is going on?
The game of Survivor never really changes. Like people are people. You know
Yes.
what I mean? Like people
It's
want
true.
power. They want to insulate themselves and their friends. And it's,
Yep.
you know.
It's funny to me too. Like when you used to watch. Speaking of Survivor, I don't know. Have you guys watched
Yeah.
Survivor at all?
Nope, don't care.
When- so good. Now we'll talk about Survivor. Yeah. So when you watch the original Survivor, there was a bit more surprise to it because now when you watch this new Survivor, everybody's been talking about the gameplay that
yeah.
I watched every season,
Oh,
so I know how to
exactly.
manipulate and lie and cheat and
Oh.
steal. It's like that's who you are. Don't
you
pretend
found,
like
you found
right.
2 dozen
You're a
cunts
good
that are going to be
manipulator.
cunts to each other, so one of them wins. That's what,
just
that's
think
what
it's
we're
cool.
watching.
So like
that's
when,
what we're
when
watching.
Survivor came out, I was a kid, right? It was like 2000 or something, and I thought it was going to be a show about surviving in the wilderness.
Yes.
And I didn't realize what they're trying to do is take all that office drama and friend circle drama that takes years to come about.
Yes.
People compete and just get it to show up in 28 days.
Yeah.
Yes.
Get people to make crazy associations because you and I, we're bros because we got the same color bandana.
Yes.
And what's really cool is people can't fucking help but do it. So
I
it's
know.
a really interesting social experiment. But yeah, like some of these, like the super fan, like there was a humbling moment in this latest season where one of the puzzles was they had to put in order the logos.
Yes.
And the guy who did, do you know who I'm talking about?
I do, yes.
So
I watched
like
it.
he was crazy good at everything, and even he had trouble with that and
Yes.
couldn't do it. And like, spoilers. But anyway, that was actually like, oh, okay, that's kind of.
Yeah, and I mean, how are you gonna remember the logo
That-
for like
right.
50
That was a bullshit
seasons
puzzle.
of fucking, it was.
That's a bullshit puzzle.
It was like the logo?
Like, yeah, that guy got
fuck
did
out of
dirty.
my face,
He
yeah.
got did dirty. But I think what's really cool to watch, because I didn't watch a lot of the in-between seasons. I was able to stream the first 2 seasons, and then I've watched the last like 16. Over the last 8 years, there's 2 seasons here. So I think what's really cool is how the host, Jeff, is like really coming to his own.
Yes.
The first season or 2, it's very scripted. He's being told what to say.
Yes.
It's awkward. Where like over time, I guess he became the executive producer. It's
Yeah.
his show.
Yes.
And he's the showrunner. And he like, I probably used that word wrong, but like he gets to be in real time with these people.
Yes.
And it's cool how that changes.
And
he's
it's
working
because
it.
people gravitate towards that. They like to see the real, the
Yeah.
fumbly. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be.
I mean, it's a
scripted
shame the
perfect
host
anymore.
is the most genuine person of the whole show.
It is.
But sure, why not?
Yeah, it is, it is.
But it's kind of like podcasting, right? Like people tune into a podcast because it's unpolished.
And leave reviews and comments.
yes. 5 stars.
Like and subscribe.
because it's unpolished,
money.
it's unscripted,
Yeah.
and it kind of goes all over the place, like our conversations.
Right.
Right.
This is a very different episode than what I've been.
Oh,
for the
yeah,
last
yeah, yeah.
2 months. Like,
because it all really depends upon the guest.
Okay.
Because
Yeah. I got it.
we've had really serious conversations. Like we've had like our friend Anea Lapa, who was like the first Albanian BJJ competitor to win worlds.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And like we talked BJJ and it was really serious and stuff. And like we'll have Sergio on and we talk sports and he's so very like, by the way, and very, very stern or stoic. That's the word I'm looking for. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And then when he gets off the mic, he's like, hey guys. yuck.
Country boy.
Yeah. Yeah, the fucking the secret's out, bro. Sorry.
Persona reveal.
Yeah, so the it changes depending on who's here sitting
Okay.
because we just go with the flow of the conversation.
I really thought I was going to show up and you guys were just going to talk about like anime, Marvel, and sports, and I was just in it to like get to hear the podcast a day earlier. That's really why I was
No,
coming
they
here.
bring you here and they throw you in. It's just like
That's
trial
cool.
by fire. It
Yeah,
doesn't-
exactly.
dig it.
I thought I was gonna sit on the chair one time over there, and he's like, "No, bro, where you going?" I was like, and then all of a sudden I started sweating. I'm like, "Really? I'm gonna fucking have to actually think." I'm going, "Okay, let's see."
Yeah, we talked about like childhood traumas and
Yeah.
shit that we used to do.
damn.
Like,
Like blowing shit up.
Wow.
and
all the
like,
shit that
yeah.
we used to do that was fucked up as kids that
Man.
you can't do now.
Right.
Because everyone has a
I heard that
fucking
episode.
camera.
I'm bringing it back.
Yeah, man. I'm
Bringing it
telling
back.
you.
You're bringing back the childhood trauma. and
No,
these
it's just like
activities.
we're just like whatever.
Yeah.
We're just
I've
gonna do it.
had conversations with people. I'm like, when we grew up in Brooklyn and we did stupid shit, like we're playing football and a fist fight breaks out and somebody calls the cops. The cops would come and they'd be like, all right, you have a choice. You can call your parents, you can go to jail, or I can slap you. I'm like, what?
Wait,
Yeah.
I'm gonna choose number 4. Run.
Like I can slap you in the face.
I just gotta be faster.
You're
than
gonna
the other
learn
guy.
your lesson, and you're gonna go home. And you'd be like, I don't want a beating from mom. Definitely don't want to go to jail. All right, I'll take you. All right, give me one. Give me a good one. Give me a good slap in the face. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, man.
but to me, like, you learned a lesson. It was kind of like, okay, get the fuck out of here. You're being a stupid kid. Like,
Right.
nothing worse than like your parents are like a slap across the back of the head. Like, get the fuck out of here. And don't start fighting in front of Mrs. Williams' house again. She's going to fucking call the cops. I got to write a report. I don't want any of this bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you grew up, and nowadays I don't think they're giving kids the opportunity to grow up in this capacity. Make some mistakes. The world doesn't need to see it. The world doesn't need to know. Everything's recorded for prosperity. It gets on the internet and then it never goes away. This poor girl's father.
Yeah.
Huck 2 girl.
Oh,
She's going to make money.
Talk,
But
talk.
her father.
Yeah.
Everyone knows.
Her father. Her
Wait,
mother.
we don't know where she learned this.
It's not from her dad, sir.
I'm sure her dad.
Why'd your head go there?
Because I was saying
Oh,
her
man.
father. You're like, we don't know where she learned this.
But I'm sure her
We don't-
dad's
Put 2 and 2
into
together.
it.
It might be some kind of family tradition. We don't
They're not
know.
royalty.
Huck 2
They are
don't
not
come
royalty.
after me. I'm not suggesting anything that anybody wasn't already thinking. All right.
Yeah, because
Listen.
if she's Huck 2 and she sees you in the street, I'm pretty sure she's got a good loogie.
She does. We know she's got good looking.
I don't know,
Wow.
man, but I'm okay with finding out.
Of course you are. you
Ian's
fucking
here
perv.
for this.
Yes,
Ian's
Ian's here for this.
Oh man.
He definitely is.
See, I think when you bring up the cops thing, so in the town that I grew up in,
Where'd you grow up?
Jackson, New Jersey.
Okay.
My dad was a cop, and so I got away with like really. I wasn't a terrible kid, but
You
like
had the PBA card?
I did.
Did you sandwich them all together and the cops throw them on the ground? He was like,
No,
I
no,
don't
no.
wanna see
That
this.
happened when so every time I would get pulled over in New Jersey, I would hand them this card, which I didn't even realize now is like basically kind of corruption, right? The cops would let
It is.
cops
On
in,
a
but
small
anyway,
scale, it is.
on a small scale, professional courtesy, whatever.
Yes.
So anyway, I come down to Florida. This is in 2007 or 2008. I was down here for vacation. I got pulled over on 95, and I handed that to the state trooper, and he was like, "You could keep that." And I mean,
He's
that
like, yeah,
was
you
like,
get the fuck out of here.
yeah,
with that.
exactly. Like that was reality, and I deserved to get ticketed for what I was doing. You know what I
Sure,
mean? And like, I wonder what lessons I might have learned. Now, that said, the cop who would let me off in New Jersey would quickly reach out to my dad or my dad's boss. I don't know how it actually
Right,
happened, but
right,
my dad would find out about it real fucking fast.
Oh,
And
yes.
he would be very. You were driving 80 in a 55
The
with
radio
no,
will
you know,
outrun
blah,
you.
blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like, I paid a price, but not the price like that other people would have paid. And
Sure. I had an equivalent to that, which was my military ID. And so when you're in proximity to military installations, i.e. Georgia, Pennsylvania, Harrisburg, like, you know, you were in like a military town, you could whip out that bad boy, man. I'm sorry, officer. They're like, you should know better than this. You're in the military. I'm like, I know. So and then you drive
But
off
you
like,
actually did a thing. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't do anything other than be like born.
Right.
You know? It's like,
So, like royalty?
yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
Oh, man. I hope there are no other implications about stuff we were talking about
About
before.
being
Oh,
inbred, you
fuck.
mean?
Oh, fuck. It's happening on a podcast? That's how this is happening? Mom and Dad, you
I
never
got
told
my
me.
ass
Alright.
kicked before. What happened was at the pizzeria, we used to feed everybody, all the cops you see for free.
Yes.
So we became friends with everyone. Well, they had a check stop, and I blew through that thing at 50. I didn't even stop. I
Right.
just was like, yeah, whatever. But then on the way back, I went through the same check stop, like, you know, like, hey, what's up?
Right.
So he pulls me over. He goes, I'll see you later. I was like, all right, I figured he was getting lunch. He came back in. He was bent. Like he was
no.
and the guy I worked for was laughing because he was throwing me around like playfully, but not playfully,
Of
throwing
course.
me around the
Of
pizzeria.
course. Yes.
I was this little like 16, 17-year-old
right.
rat kid, but I flew through that check stop. Like, I didn't even care. I was just like, whatever.
But that's the thing, right? He came in, he roughhoused you a little bit, you know, kind of like big brother treatment. Like, come on, don't be a fucking schmuck.
I should have gone
know
with
you.
the cayenne pepper.
Right. Yeah.
Jeez, some ninjutsu shit. And then a smoke bomb and disappear.
Shinobi.
Yeah.
Oh,
Until
man.
the baton comes out, like, I
Yeah,
got your cayenne pepper right here.
here.
Right here.
I got the laundry guy with it once.
Cayenne pepper?
He came in. I heard the truck pull up because he'd fuck with me relentlessly.
Yes.
And he, you know, just stuff that I was like, I don't like this. So
Yeah.
heard him come in, grabbed a handful of the cayenne pepper. He went to run his mouth before he can even open it. I was like, whew, blew it in his face. He's rolling around on the floor and snot's coming out of everything. It was just bad. Like, we had a
No,
lot of
they
fun.
make pepper spray.
Yeah,
it
they
might
do.
have been an easier solution.
This has evolved, except
Yeah.
Grant would have probably been like,
Yeah.
like, this isn't mint breath spray.
Dude, I had so much fun at the pizzeria.
Some people don't realize that, like, because when I was in the service, we would do, I guess their version of Mace is CS gas. Mm-hmm. And so when you're doing CS gas, it comes out in a gaseous form, right? There's wind. Some of the drill sergeants were so used to it that they wouldn't even put a mask on. And others learned the hard way because they would put like CS gas on a stick, right? And the joke was, hey guys, you've worked really hard. Eat whatever you want. So I would get suspicious. They're like, you want seconds in cake? When they gave us cake in the first place, I was like, they're giving us cake? Holy shit. We haven't had sweets for 4 months. And then they're like, you can have seconds. I'm like, something's wrong here. Something is incredibly wrong. And I was thinking, my brain went to, there's something in here that's gonna make me shit.
You're thinking about the wrong end, dude.
Yes,
You're thinking
right.
about the wrong end.
No, what they did was they had us outside and they came running out of the wood lines with these gas canisters on a stick. So now you're so fat and fed with all this cake. People were puking, right? Like, they couldn't run fast enough. I see them running out of the wood line, and I'm like, gas, right? So you have this, it's called like mop gear. You have this like little satchel on your side of you, and you got to pull it out, get your gas canisters on, because they lobbed a couple in there, and then they're running out. Because if you were fast enough, they would chase you and stick this stick in your face, right?
Jesus Christ.
So I got my mask on. I hit the ground. People are choking out like your skin is burning. Your eyes are like just tearing. Your snot's coming out of your mouth. It's instantaneous. It's fucking wild, right? It's like concentrated mace in your face, and I'm helping
literally,
people put their gear on and like. Oh man, it was fucking wild. But as soon as I seen got, I was out. I'm like the Flash. I ran to a safe distance, put my mask on. I'm like, all right, now I'm gonna go back for my friends. Came back over there, and I'm like rolling around, helping everybody out and shit.
Jeez, that sounds healthy. That sounds
Yeah,
normal.
yeah, but I knew it. Like, I'm like, seconds?
this is
No.
sus.
No.
This is
No. They were
doesn't add
fattening us up for the slaughter.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
man.
exactly what
We
they
want
did.
them so full they can't run.
Yeah.
seriously.
That couple of days when we were doing like chemical weapons training was harsh because you're in Georgia, and mop gear is basically like wearing one of those like chemical suits in military form.
you can't
and then the
breathe.
mask. And
it's
but in
hot.
order to graduate, you had to accomplish like I think like 2 to 4 hours of wearing this gear and accomplishing tasks. At a certain point, accomplishing the smallest of tasks was excruciating. But it's just like they would be like, "All right, march in place," and everybody's like, "Left, right." They're like, "In a group, left, right." Like, fuck. It took all of your brain power to just walk in a fucking straight line because you're dehydrated, you're sweating. It's just really very uncomfortable. And then take it all off, and then the next day they're like, "Get in the room." You line up in a room. Everybody's up against the walls. You got your mop gear on. And then they would call you out in front of this table, and the table had the gas just fucking throwing out fumes. And they're like, "All right, take off your masks." You're like, "What?" I'm good. So you take off your masks, and then they're asking you stupid questions like, "Hey, what's your girlfriend's name back home?" I'm like, "What?" You're like, "You can't breathe and shit." But they wanted you to talk, to inhale it, and really get the full effect. And those that thought that they were clever enough to be like, "I'm going to hold my breath as long as humanly possible," Joe Sargent walk up to you, like kind of throw a hand on your shoulder and be like, "Pop!" Ooh. God, now you're taking the deepest breath known to mankind. You're like, "Oh," they're like, yeah. What's your social security number? What? When you answer me, you can leave. And the other fucked up thing about it was the doors opened. Every other series of double doors opens, right? And there's nothing in the middle. This particular set of double doors had this like whomping pole that like people are just like running into, like bang.
And it spikes on it.
Yeah. It was like, it might as well have.
Electrocuted
It might as well have.
Yeah.
So I also did a stupid thing because I was a wise ass in my prime. I run out.
Only then.
Only then.
I run out the door and they had cameras recording us because they wanted to catch us like gagging and falling all over.
There is a
they sell
videotape
you
of
the
the basic
picture?
training around somewhere.
And there is videotape of this, so there is actual proof. Yeah, I come running out of the door and I see the camera and I'm like, "Hi, Mom!" Right? They yell, "We got a hi, Mom!" I'm like, "What's happening here?" 2 drill sergeants run over, grab me by my arms, and lift me up. Like, "Oh, we got a hi, Mom!"
Oh my
They're telling
God.
all the other NCOs as they're walking by. I'm like, "Oh, hi, Mom!" They're like carrying me. So now
Holy
they
crap.
walk me back onto the line to get back in the gas chamber. But at this point, I don't have my mask. They take it all away. They're like, "You're gonna go in, do the whole process this time without a mask."
Because you said hi, Mom?
Because I said, "We have a hi, Mom."
because you were, okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. At that point,
Damn.
I just accepted misery.
Wow. Holy shit.
Had to go through the
They
whole...
had a name for it and everything.
They were waiting for the
waiting.
first asshole.
They knew it.
I didn't create the asshole.
No.
I was born
Another
into
iteration.
it.
I thought you were going to
your
tell me that
calling.
you moved the
That was
camera.
my calling.
Oh, man.
And it must happen so much that they're like, "We got a hi,
They
Mom.
got a name for
We
it.
were waiting for you,
You know,
sir."
sometimes I'll say when somebody says, like, "Quit being a wise ass," and I'll be like, "It's better to be a wise ass than a dumbass," but I guess not.
No, it is
I
not.
guess not. I guess not.
You are correct. You are correct. And there was some funny shit that they did to us when we were in basic training. We had no idea that they had intercom systems, and they were listening to us all the time. So they would punish us, and we're walking back, and of course, like we're slamming shit, like "Fuck Drill Sergeant Lugo," and he's some man. I will beat that motherfucker's ass. Right? You know what I mean? Like
Holy
you're so
fuck.
mad. You know,
And
we're all
they're
talking
hearing
shit,
this.
and they're
hearing this.
listening. They're like, "Private Rosa," and then the next day, he'd come in and he's being like super hard on me and punishing me and smoking me, and I'm doubling down on this. Fuck this guy, right? And he's doubling down on fuck this kid.
So he's like Steve Buscemi and Billy Madison with his list.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Please don't find me, Drill Sergeant. Like, please don't.
You're lucky you didn't do like a dumpster match, see who comes out.
No, they found ways to punish us. They really, really did. And then when you go to graduate, this is when all these things are let out. Like, "Hey, we had an intercom," and we're like, "Fuck."
I did this to
Mind
myself.
blown. Yes, yes.
Oh, man.
This was so much harder on me because of me.
Yeah.
I was my own worst enemy.
Like, well, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions.
I have no filter growing up. I never had a filter. So when I was a kid, I was a shithead. So
I can see that.
I was I worked at
I
this
can see
ecology center, and I don't know what they stuck me in like the snack hut or whatever it was, food hut.
The banana
So-
stand.
No,
Yes.
it was, dude. It was like chicken
Frozen
sandwiches. It
bananas.
was like
Always money in the
it
banana
was,
stand.
it was French fries, chicken sandwiches,
Yeah.
these nasty ass burgers that were like steamed, cotton candy, like all kinds of
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that. We'd be throwing shit in the deep fryer just because you want to see what happens.
Sure.
Like ice.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So anyway, somebody would be there and you're like this. I'm like lobbing ice cubes into it on the other side behind the wall. Well, anyway, I got left in there by myself. First day or two that I've never been in there. I always shoveled animal shit or
Yeah.
worked one of the rides. And
Yeah.
the manager of there was like, left me. So somebody came back, my friend, and I'm like, that fat fuck. I'm screaming, I'm talking shit. And my friend's like, no, no. And I'm like, and they're like, no. And she's standing behind me. I was like, that fat fuck's probably standing right behind me. And I said, like that, turn around. And I'm like, hey, fat fuck. And she's like, so that's how you feel about me? I was like, yep. And I was like, yeah. But she thought it was
Moral of
funny,
the story
she
is
was
I
like-
got fired.
No, I didn't get fired. I didn't get fired, but I didn't work with her after that. She was like, nope, send him out to
All right.
the docks.
We'll end this on pranks that you played off at a job.
Oh, shit.
If you've ever done something or had something done to you. And I'll start to give you guys some things, right? Just some time to think.
I'm
Excuse
going
me.
to
Some
hell.
things.
I can ramble
Right?
off 5 or 10 of them right
So
off the bat.
I worked at this company where we were loading trucks, right? And we had this kid Dre who, like, they would assign like 4 guys to a truck, and you had a time allocated to accomplish this goal. Hey, load this up. Truck driver's coming in. They're gonna pull it out. The next truck has got to come in. It was an assembly line of sorts, right? And so when you got 4 guys, if one guy's slacking, the 3 of you had to pick up the fucking pace. So we always had this kid Dre who thought he was too cool to fucking actually work. And he's like, hey guys, cover me. I'm gonna go sleep in the truck. And while we're working, so we'd stack up boxes and he would sleep off in the corner and we're busting our ass. So day 2 comes around. I'm like, yo, fuck Dre.
Seriously.
Here's what we're gonna do.
Box
I was the
him in.
ringleader. We boxed him in.
Oh,
We
shit.
loaded the truck faster than we could. We actually had other people from other lines who were like, we will gladly help you
my
load
God.
this truck up so ridiculously fast he can't get out in time.
He's going to end up in Albuquerque, New
Bro,
Mexico.
Holy
he
shit.
woke up once the truck like backed in, like boop, you know, hitched on and started. You're hearing, hey,
Oh my
hey,
God.
hey, we boxed this motherfucker in. It was so goddamn good.
Some say he's still in that truck.
The spirit of Dre is still
Oh
in
my
that
God.
truck. But yeah, man, they fired him. But lesson learned, sir. Don't fuck around, man. You're gonna find out.
For real.
Who wants
Damn.
next?
Come on, Troy, what you got?
I can't really. I'm trying to think of stuff that I did like stupid as a kid.
Do you remember the
I really-
Goonies, like where
right,
they had
just
Chunks
prank-
sitting there just telling all the shit? That's me. I
Yes,
can go
yes.
ham just straight, one after
Just
the other.
how about just prank in general? Prank that you played on somebody that was great. Yeah, Grant, you go next. You
I
go
packed
next.
dog shit under somebody's car door handle. Remember the car door handles before they have the holes in it? I think they put the holes in it because of me. That's number 1. You ready for the next one?
Go ahead, go
so
ahead.
I'm working at, I'm not going to release the name of the fast food restaurant,
Sure.
but there's 2 stories from there. One's PG, one's just shouldn't even be said.
So PG with it. PG it is.
So there was this half retarded kid there, and I decided to take the honey barbecue sauce and honey barbecue his moped. And he got all bent out of shape, and I was like, "Fuck this dude." He was such an asshole. He'd walk around. He was bigger than me, but I didn't give a shit. I was
Yes.
like, and he's throwing a fucking fit, and his thing's just dipped in honey barbecue sauce because it was a big vat. It was a lot. So that was the one thing. The worst of the worst was it's like fucking 10 o'clock at night. We're about to close the place up, and somebody comes to the fucking window. 10:05, ding, and we're like, I guess they didn't shut it off.
Yeah.
So they're like, it's gonna have to come out.
You
anyway.
have to turn everything on.
Yeah,
right?
no, but so check it out. So it's gonna come out anyway. So he's like, I want a 2-piece
come out.
white meal, potato wedges, and a biscuit. And I'm like, this motherfucker's ordering like something. We have like no food at the end of the night. So
Yeah.
they're like, you got to give him, because we got in trouble for something. We didn't have enough food. We were
Sure.
trying not to create waste. Well, we had no fucking extra crispy breasts. But guess
Right.
what? I'm walking past and I see one on the floor in like a puddle of fucking water. I'm like, fuck this dude.
Oh.
So I take that thing off the ground with the tongs, throw it in the deep fryer.
Yes.
Right?
So sanitize it.
I
To
guess,
sanitize
whatever,
it, of
just to
course.
make
Yeah,
it
yeah,
warm
yeah.
at that point because it was going to be cold. And
yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
fuck
yeah.
it. Pack that shit up, send it out. About 2 weeks later, it was a secret shopper, and I got $100.
No.
Yeah. So not only did I fuck that dude up because he came in
paid
fucking,
you for it.
he paid me for it. He paid me twice.
Wow.
So yeah, there's
Yeah, he probably paid you 3 times because his night was probably not well.
Wait. What if this is just the secret recipe for good shit? What if we just found out?
the Colonel's super secret.
Yeah,
recipe.
Yeah,
floor
you gotta
double
leave
fry it.
Yeah, that's where the flavor comes from. It's like
From
cast iron, you
Fabuloso.
don't clean
From
it.
Yeah,
Fabuloso.
Fabuloso.
Yeah,
From Bleach
that's
or
right.
whatever they had.
Troy, any prank stories?
Lame
nothing that
shit.
comes
Like
to mind.
I'm a nerd. I'm a computer guy, so I don't remember if this was in high school or maybe at an early job. But like, there's a Windows shortcut where you can flip the screen, and I would do that shit. To people. You know what I mean?
What a bad boy!
Oh,
What
yeah.
a fucking
Oh,
bad
yeah,
boy! Damn.
really. I did help a friend of mine. We got through some idiot told us, someone that like worked at the school, somebody's mom told us the password to get through the firewall.
Yes.
And so one of my friends, I show my friend how to you got to change the settings for the proxy settings, Internet Explorer, you do this. And I thought he was just going to look up whatever there was on the internet in 2001.
Yeah.
No. This dude on the big screen in the classroom puts up just a fucking vagina in the middle of a class, like our
As
fucking English
one
teacher.
should.
Yeah, I
Yes.
mean,
Yes.
yeah.
You have your moment. You got to seize it, like Eminem. You got one shot.
Yeah.
one shot. He did not miss his chance.
Yeah,
He
you were
did
like
not.
Vinny. Vinny used to do that. This kid Vinny, he was a cool dude, but he ended up committing suicide later on in life.
Right.
But he was so
Way to
wicked.
bring the mood down. But
Yeah,
good.
but
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah.
It is what it is.
Seriously, yeah.
It's
So,
all
but
the
he was
practice.
wicked.
All
So
the
I'm gonna
practice
start
caught
this
up with
really
him.
funny story with
He was
suicide.
wicked smart. Dude,
Terrible depression.
wicked smart. So anyway, he ends up going into the back settings and taking the leaves off of the women's vagina on
Right.
one of these apps, and it's he was able to do all kinds of wicked shit. But he brought remember the TV screens that would roll into the classroom?
Yeah, of
he
course.
lobbed a porno on VHS in there. I don't know how he had it. Who carries them around with you? But all of a sudden you hear screaming and yelling, and the teacher's just back is turned, and you can feel the blushing,
Oh my God.
and she's she just knew it was Vinny.
Yeah, of course.
So, yeah.
She yelled Vinny.
Evil genius.
Yeah.
He had that tape sitting in his locker for years, and then Phil Collins
My
comes
time
on.
has come.
He's like, I've been waiting for this moment for all my life.
Did you? You remember those credit
play.
card generators?
The what?
The credit card generators?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Oh, that's
again,
it, okay.
they weren't allowed on the two of my friends weren't allowed on the computers in
Yes.
school because of the fact that they would do horrible shit like that.
Yes.
They're
Okay.
breaking
Yes.
into weird stuff.
Yeah.
So credit card generators, they got in trouble something about robbing from the porn sites, and they brought
Yes.
him up on charges.
Holy
But
shit.
he was only 12, 13.
Wow.
So they couldn't really get him.
Some people are just ahead of their time. And, speaking of that, on the internet, the laws were not there. Still,
right.
to this day,
Napster
there are a
and
lot
stuff.
of laws that are not there that are people are getting away with shit. And it's there's nothing to protect me
No, you
because
got-
this
They didn't come
hasn't
up
been
with that.
done
You got-
in this way.
You got
yet.
90-year-olds trying to make laws for 20-year-olds who are so
Yeah.
far beyond, they don't even know what the fuck is going
The
on.
internet is a series of tubes.
Yes.
That's
But
what
think
these
about
lotteries-
telemarketing was ahead of its time. There's this documentary on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, I recommend watching it about what telemarketing did was basically they saw that whole prince scheme, hey, I'm a prince in
Nigeria?
in Nigeria,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, give me your
Call
social
me now.
security, and
Yeah.
I will put this money into your account. And they saw that as an opportunity to rip off people that didn't have money, the
Right.
elderly,
Yep.
and people that weren't smart enough to see past the scheme.
There's tons of those scams.
How
And-
about Soupy Sales? There was this clown or something. It was during our parents' time, and they were it was one of these TV shows, and they were listen, kids, what I want you to do is take an envelope, and you're gonna put my address on it, and everybody's gonna send me $1, and it was a joke, but all of a sudden, envelopes
Right.
started coming in
Yep.
with money.
right?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of
That's
dumb
There was
telemarketing.
something that Stephen Colbert did. No, not Stephen Colbert. John Oliver. John Oliver, where he made a fake church.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he
raised
collected money.
and paid off medical debt with
Yes,
it. Yeah,
at
that
one
was- that
point
was
he's
dope.
like, please stop sending me money. He's like the Church of John Oliver or some
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
He made commercials and everything. He's like, but it's so easy to get tax exempt free money
Right.
for bullshit.
Yeah.
And he was asking for these donations as a joke, and then literally he's like, please, the joke is over. Stop sending me shit.
Yeah,
Like,
they started doubling down. They're like, I'm just gonna send you more.
yeah,
We'll have
He
no
started
chill
asking
with the
for
donations.
the seed, right? People were sending
Oh my
bags
God.
of fucking seeds to him. He's
Wow.
like, please stop sending seed. And on that note, thank you for joining us at the Sofa Kingdom podcast. You can find us on all your social media platforms at
Sofa Kingdom OSC,
and on YouTube at
Sofa Kingdom Podcast.
Ian. Take us away.
Ian is going to take you away. I don't know where we're going, but we're going somewhere. Formerly known as Grant.
Bears.
Yes. And a big thank you to our special guest for joining us today, man. Really appreciate it. We had some
Thank
fun.
you for having me. This
Yeah,
was,
and look,
appreciate it.
we don't have to talk about Marvel.
No,
We don't have to talk about sports.
I
We can
survived.
make it through, right?
Wow.
We can have actual conversations like human beings. In the beginning, I was like, we actually sound pretty intelligent. How can we change
We don't
that
want
shit?
anybody to know that.
Right.
I don't want people learning shit.
I don't want
Don't
people
tell me
knowing
to
that
learn
intelligent.
shit.
Go somewhere else for
Fuck
education.
out of here.
Get the fuck out of here. This is great, man.
But
This
every
is
now
really
and
great.
again, we can even surprise ourselves.
Love it.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Ooh, this is the walkaway portion where people hear us walking away.
Yeah.
It's my favorite part of the podcast.
That's where I throw up the video and you just hear the background talk.
Yeah. Love it.
There's been a couple things that you came upon when we were walking away.
Walking away or walking in, that's why I'm